In the last few months, I've added The Flash, Marvel's Gambit, and now a superhero named Batgirl. What the is happening to my channel? Hello everyone, it's Chris the Batman Statue Collector, your Dark Knight of Collecting, and welcome back once again to Brotherhood of the Bat Collectibles. And with all kidding aside from the intro, a lot of weird things have been happening on the channel for sure, but today we're going to be talking about Batgirl. And some of you might be saying, Chris, you always say you can't get the heroes. You like Batman surrounded by his villains, and that's always been the case. That is my focus. That's what keeps me sane. But I have been so impressed lately with all of the amazing premium formats that Sideshow has been producing lately. They've been really knocking everything out of the park. And so I started looking at the pieces that I don't have, and I said, why don't I have them? Why did I not order them in the first place? Because Batgirl's been out for a little while now. And I decided I needed to give her a chance because I'm also interested in Robin. And I said, if I get Robin, then I also need to get Batgirl and pair them up together. And of course, maybe they'll do a Nightwing or maybe a Red Hood and add some more heroes. So my plan right now is to maybe add them to this display case back here or possibly off to the side. But I did want to see and share my thoughts with her because I did want to see her in person with you guys. So anyway, if you're new here, before we get started, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you also like this video if you enjoy this type of content, because it does help collectors just like you find this content, and it really helps me out on the channel as well, so thank you guys for that. So without further ado, let's check out Batgirl. Alright guys, so I have Batgirl here set up on the table, and thank you everybody that tuned in for our live unboxing. And if you did miss it, please, you could check the link right up here after you've watched this video, because I think you're really going to enjoy it. Me and Ledger had a great time, and just thank you for everybody that showed up for that. But here we have her, and she is really awesome, guys. I'm really impressed, and this is another piece that I feel like I was a complete sleeper on. I have seen some great reviews, like reviewers like Jim Mint, which was funny because he nearly lost her head on his video, which was awesome. I just teased him about that this week as well. But anyway, I saw some great reviews like that, and it really sold me on the fact that, okay, I need to give a second look at this piece. I had the OG piece. Now, the OG piece, I still feel stands up, absolutely. And I think it might even still maybe potentially be better than this piece, potentially. But also, this piece fits the new direction way more. The old one is just that classic museum pose. It's still great, but I don't think that she looks as good with this collection as this Batgirl would, because this one is much more dynamic, much more realistic, and I really like this a lot. I really like the pop of color. I'm going to give you guys kind of a 360 spin here. As I look at her, I really like the details that I'm seeing. Some people say, in pictures, her suit and things like that, they look kind of bland. In person, that's a different story. There's different color tones. There's a lot of texturing, a lot of piping in the suit. Of course, the cape looks great, and it does have a great amount of color, which is always very lacking in a Batman collection. It's always a lot of grays. You get, of course, the occasional Mr. Freeze blue or Harley Quinn's red, but a lot of like dark colors. Now this, of course, has some dark colors as well, but that cape really pops. And of course, the pop of color with her hair and the white smoke here really is nice. It has a nice footprint here. It's a little bit deeper than you would expect because of her arms being outstretched like this. But I love that you can pose the cape, and I love her head sculpt. Those are things right off the bat that I really like the most. Yes, I could have gotten the exclusive, but I didn't like the exclusive because I don't feel like she would be smiling crashing through a window. Now, again, that's not to say if you love that head sculpt, don't get it. I know that particular one right now is on waitlist, but this one is still available. This is the collector's edition, and it is still available at Sideshow. So if you're interested, I will put the link down below, of course. But I'm really impressed with what I see. I really like the colors, and again, this is another piece that I can't believe how long I waited to get this. Again, you guys know me. I don't collect the heroes. But as you have seen over the last year or so, my collection continues to evolve. It's one of those things where I'm kind of constantly changing my mind and my opinion, and I only want to feature the best of the best on this channel for you guys. I'm not going to waste my time with pieces that are not great. And I do feel like this one is really great. I think it's really fun. And if you are a Batgirl fan, this is a no-brainer. It has a lot of dynamic action to it. It's very, very well sculpted, very well painted. And I can't wait to show you the close-ups for her. So without further ado, let's do that right now. Alright guys, so I have Batgirl set up here on the table for some close-ups here, and just look at that portrait. Absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to show you the whole statue here, and like we always do, we start at the base. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So obviously the base is kind of this smoke effect. It has a lot of white elements, but really a lot of dark gray elements as well. You can really see it along the bottom. I do have a light shining on this, so it does wash it out a little bit compared to the naked eye. But you can really see the white and the grays. It's kind of that gradual gray. I'm going to kind of spin it all around just so you can see, you know, it's got that level of texturing, even though it's supposed to be this white, like puffy smoke. And I think they do a really good job of capturing that. I just think across the front and the sides it looks really, really good. And then of course as you go to the back you're going to have that wood element here. And so let me go ahead and talk about that. The wood grain is a light color wood grain. It's obviously coming through this, this window. Old wood, kind of rotted wood. Looks really, really good. It's got some of these bolts here, it's all sculpted, but really nicely painted, really nicely weathered as well. It almost looks kind of like maybe like there's been some water damage. Here you can really see that down here in the bottom. I think that looks really, really good and really well painted. I really like that effect. But again, the smoke, it's a really nice look. I really like it. Then obviously you have the smoke canisters right there. And a lot of people kind of miss this, but they are down there, like they're billowing smoke out of them. The only thing that I don't maybe like, let me see if I can get it here a little bit tighter for you guys, is that seam line right there. I don't know if that was necessarily necessary or even if it really needed these in the first place. It is a nice touch, but I do feel like the seam line there where it keys in, it is glued in. But I feel like that could have maybe been just a little bit better. But anyway, overall, I like the cloud effect. I think it's really, like I said, light and fluffy. There are no other, key lines anywhere else or any seam lines anywhere else other than just that small area. But again, it's pretty much hidden by this this front beam right here. So really, you don't have to really worry about that too much. It's just a minor nitpick. Okay. And then, of course, you have the top of the smoke effect again, nice shading. Again, whites and grays. It's definitely more gray than white. It almost looks like a, kind of like a toxic plume of smoke. But really well done. Then as we go up the statue itself, you're going to notice this shattered glass effect here. This is not resin. This is a pliable material. It's got a little bit of a give to it. But it's a plastic material. It would just be too fragile if it wasn't. But that way you have kind of those clear elements. Of course, there's going to be some on this side as well. You can see that flexibility right there. And it does tell you that it is plastic, but it does then go into the polystone of the actual window itself. These pieces obviously have been glued in. I have a small amount, I don't know if it's going to pick up, a small amount of glue residue right there, very, very small. Again, it's not really visible to the naked eye, so I'm not going to really, reflect on that too long. This side doesn't have that, but you can see that the keys in there, and then was glued as part of the, putting the statue together process. But anyway, you can see the back side here looks really good as well. It's got that nice translucency to it. Captures the light really well. I've got a pink light back there, so you can see how it's kind of reflecting off the side. It looks really good. Really nice. And since we have the boots over here, let's go ahead and look at those boots. Really nice detailing on these boots. You can see I love the fronts of these, like the little straps. Looks really, really good. And let me go ahead and spin her around so you can see the other foot as well. It gives you a little bit better look at the detailing. Let's see, does she have any treads on the bottom? Yeah, she does. Looks really good there. You can see the treads. Just Sideshow does such a great job with these pieces. And they've been doing such a good job lately. That is exactly why I went ahead and picked her up. This is not something I was going to pick up, but I'm just really happy with this line. So as we go up, you're going to see the difference. It's hard, again, on camera to really see it, but this area right here in the thigh is much, much darker than the actual suit itself. So there is some color differentiation there. You can see it more maybe here. Again, it's just a darker gray. Maybe it could have been a little bit darker. I don't know, but I don't really mind. I think it looks really good. It's just kind of a simple paint job on this one. There's not a lot of shading on the actual suit. But it doesn't need it. It just looks really good. The boot really separates that. That strap on her leg looks really good and separates it out as well. Here you can really see the gun detail. Looks really nice. And that strap goes up her thigh. It's really nice. Really nicely done. As we spin her, let's look at the belt here. The belt is a nice shade of gold color. You notice that the gold on the round part, these areas here are different gold shadings, gold texturing compared to this paint here. So it doesn't all match, which is nice because it's different material. This is more of it's sculpted, but of course it's supposed to be a different material than what's actually on the belt. The belt would be more of that that shiny material, where these would be fabric. You see how the pouches are swooping up like she is in midair, exactly like something like this would really happen in real life. I really like that a lot. I think that's really smart that they did that. So that's kind of that look you get as she's literally crashing through this window. I did want to show you the key is, sorry, I'm pointing to that there. It's just right back here. That's where the key goes into the actual smoke, which just really creates that super dynamic angle here, which is really, really neat. All right, let's go back up here to her chest. This is probably the #1 nitpick of this piece, is that her chest emblem was not yellow. There are some versions of her that do have this black emblem, so I'm assuming that that's where their source material came from. I could see them maybe doing a variant down the road, possibly with a yellow emblem, but I do think the black looks good. I would have maybe preferred the yellow, but that's just me. You can also see then that textured shading there underneath the armpit area into the chest. Separation really, really nicely done in my opinion. And again, in person, it really does pop way more than it does in photographs. But you can see the texturing there. Looks really good. And then, of course, the rest of the suit is that real smooth texture, almost kind of like a smooth leather with that piping. So that looks really good. Chest looks really good. The abs, I think, is really well sculpted. Looks like she's almost doing a crunch here, but just really well done. Okay. And then, of course, as we go up the arms, you're going to see the great texturing and paint on the actual gloves themselves. It's just black, nothing too spectacular, but it really is that texturing and the 3D elements of this that really makes the hands and fingers pop. And then, of course, you have that same element as we spin her around here. Same element really with the fingers flaring. I really like that. She's kicking back this cape. And speaking of the cape, you have that classic Sideshow cape. I want to give a shout out to Tim Hansen. He is our Sideshow boy that he does such a great job with these capes. Part of the cut and sew element, of course. I don't know if I have this posed exactly how I want to. He said in Facebook to go get it, so I'm going to make sure I do him proud. But of course, it does have those wires, with the flexible wires, so you can pose this however you want, which looks really good. The inside is just kind of that shiny, almost silk-like yellow, and then the back is what I like even better. It's that pleather material, but you can see the yellow stitching. I really like the yellow stitching here. There is maybe a slight hint of weathering. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's mostly black. I don't know if they really touched it much. I do feel like there's like some areas here where it just looks like it has a little bit of paint. Very, very subtle. But again, the bottom of capes are always dirty, so I think that they did do a little spray. It's not heavy, but it does give you an idea that they did give a little bit of that thought there. I think you can really see it in a few places. I think it's specifically right here. I feel like, sorry, I'll make sure it's in focus for you guys. I feel like right there you can really see it. But anyway, let me spin her around again. You can really pose it however you want. I like it flared over her fingers. I think that looks really good. I know some people have displayed her with it down, but I like that look. All right, speaking of look, I mean, look at this thing. Absolutely gorgeous head sculpt here. I do not love the exclusive, the smiling. I'm like, I don't know why you'd be smiling crashing through a window. I think that you would be very serious in coming in and saving the day. Of course, Batgirl always has a smile on her face, so I know that's why a lot of people like it. But for this particular pose, that's why I feel like you just need the regular. And the EX is waitlisted right now anyways, so, you know, jump on it if you want it, but... and it's only like $15 more, which is amazing. But anyway, the head sculpt looks very much to me like the head sculpt on the OG premium format, which was gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. This one, of course, has a very much more dynamic pose with the hair flying through the air. The hair looks really good here. Let me make sure I get in there tight for you guys so you can see the beautiful red hair. It's a really beautiful red color. And I like the way that it's swooping up off of her cowl. I think that's really nice. One thing I also wanted to really point out is the eye makeup. Absolutely beautiful eye makeup. No googly eyes here. Absolutely fantastic. This is a really great portrait. And I really tip my hat to the sculptors here. So look at her. I mean, just look how dynamic she is. Is she as good as the OG? Maybe not. But I do feel like she fits in with this line. This line right there that, this channel is so famous for. And that, it just goes perfectly. It really does. The OG, I don't know if it fits in as well anymore. If you have most of the OG pieces, then by all means get that OG Batgirl. You can still find her on the secondary market. People are selling on eBay or whatnot. But, just look at this. This is really amazing. I am so glad I picked this up. So dynamic, beautiful, strong, yet very sexy. I don't know. I'm really glad I picked this up. I think it's really well done. And it's just so nice to have a good guy in the collection, actually, which is a pretty rare occurrence for the Batman statue collector. All right, guys, so there you have it. An incredible statue from Sideshow Collectibles. I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of this piece? Do you think that I am crazy adding her to the collection, or do you think it's a smart move? I also want to know if you think that whenever I build this bigger display, I'm going to build a bigger case. Whenever I do that, do you think I should incorporate Robin and Batgirl into that display, like she's fighting them? Or should I continue my theme of Batman surrounded by his villains and just keep the good guys off to the side over here on the white shelves? Because that's kind of my initial plan, but I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think I should do? I always really appreciate the advice, and it just means the world to me that you took the time today to watch this review. I really think she is good. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, again, it's not a scientific scale by any means, but I'm definitely going to give her, I'm going to say an 8.9 out of 10. And probably the score is a little bit lower just because I'm not a giant fan of Batgirl. She's not my favorite character. And I think part of that problem is I've not read a lot on her. And I'm going to change that. Now that I have this statue, I'm going to go back and read some of my Batgirl books that I've never read. And I'm going to see if maybe that influences me to like her a little bit more as a character. But yeah, what do you guys think? I want to know. I want to know what you think. I think she's a hit for sure. I'm really, really glad I added her. I'm so glad to see her in person. You guys know that I don't have a comic book shop near me, so I don't ever get to see these in person at a shop. Like, I don't get to shop ahead of time. So I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat as well. But I am really glad to see her in person. I think she's really, really fun. I love her colors. I love her cape. Let me give you another 360 spin here, just because I think she's really fun and really well done. I'm so glad I got her, guys. I'm so glad. Absolutely. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell. Make sure you click all. That way you get all the content and you don't miss any of our awesome videos. And just thank you guys so very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you right here in the Batcave. Bye, everybody. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these two awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.